Join us on Now We Consume. Take in the knowledge, take in the laughs, indulge in the topics with us. The Now We Consume podcast will take you through the parts of your day you normally dread. Why suffer through the existential crisis of life alone when you can do it with us? And now we consume.
This is not meant to be a conspiracy episode or podcast, but we may cover some topics that dance that line like a toddler dances on their mother's last nerve. This podcast is rated I, for immature audiences only.
If you enjoy making a face in movies that looks like a turtle getting railed while getting ready to get glazed like the gingerbread man, you've come to the right spot. Hi, and welcome back to the Now We Consume podcast. I'm Pip, your host, and with me as always is my co-host Gibbs.
You know, I love your intros, but sometimes I'm disgusted by them.
Glaze me! Glaze me!
That's all I can think of. And just the turtle
Oh, yes.
There's got to be a weird edit out there with that.
We do love our turtle porn.
We? No. No, you're not throwing me into that. No, that's
you
that's
are
you.
a fan of that noise, too.
It's funny. You're the one that posts it in the Discord. There's two different things. I reference it. You post it. That's a whole different...
I did actually put the noise in. That is my doing.
I can even put out the audio afterwards.
Oh, yes. We should do that in post.
Okay.
But tonight, we're going to be talking about the downward spiral of the entertainment industry. And as we are a part of said entertainment industry, sort of.
I hadn't factored that in at all for tonight.
I
It didn't
know,
even occur
right?
to me. More entertaining? I don't know.
We are
That's
part
a
of the
stretch.
problem.
We're part of the problem.
Yes. I do want to take a quick aside to mention two things. First, I want to give a shout out to my son Connor. Today, 4/20 is his birthday. So happy birthday, Connor. He turned 11 years old today. So hell yeah. Happy
First of
birthday
all,
there.
Fuck, that makes me old.
I know, because you remember when he was born.
I know. Good God. Second of all, hell of a birthday to have.
I know, right?
So you gotta be careful in a few years.
I know. And second, found out very early this morning that we crossed a big milestone for the show. We hit, or I guess we crossed the 1,000 download mark. Prior to going to episode 20. So thank you everybody that's listened. That is a very big thing. It's a big deal, big milestone that I honestly did not think we would hit for quite a while. So thank you to everybody that's taking the time to tune in and joined us on the ride. But Gibbs, if you want to take it for a couple of seconds and
Yeah, absolutely.
and touch some deep tips and
I knew you were gonna do it. But no, definitely thank you everybody that's listened. We just did this as like a fun pet project, and we received a lot more support and outreach than we ever expected. Now that I have my finances in order, I do want to, starting this week, like doing some more investments and stuff in this show. And starting to put more effort towards it now that the rest of my life outside of this is starting to finally get organized. I actually got to spend time yesterday and like do some fun things, which like to me is incredible. That's awesome. But that being said,
will we get shorts anytime soon?
Yeah, this week absolutely, actually. Because
Wow.
I am
you
actually,
heard it here first, folks.
No, I'm not kidding. So long story short, outside of this, after work, I've had to do like trainings and other stuff in different classes and whatever. I'm most of the way through that. So as part of my requirement for my work. So therefore, I don't have to do that after work every day. That was turning a 12-hour workday into like a 14-hour workday.
Very
Don't recommend
nice.
it. So,
Yeah,
anyways.
no, it's disgusting.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan with the modern work environment, but that's a whole nother topic.
Episode.
Oh, yeah. Particularly it's an American thing. But anyways, the downward spiral of the entertainment industry. Now, it's kind of this weird thing in America where really post-World War II, America's been the hub of entertainment almost globally.
The hub.
Oh,
I'm
not
sorry.
like that.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
Oh.
if the shoe fits, not wrong. But America has been the hub of entertainment. We have been kind of the center. We kind of set the standard. We set the stage. And I know you're giggling over there. I'll let you do your thing. But we really are. Like joking aside, both intentionally and not, we really are. So it's been one of the weird things where every single time a movie or piece of entertainment, something comes out, everything else has to outdo it. If something is ridiculous, something else has to be more ridiculous. Something's funny has to be funnier. You know, science fiction has to be crazy. Then the next one has to be crazier. The adventure has to be more insane. And everything has to be turned up to 11 and then 12 and then 14 and then 37 and then 92. It becomes this exponential problem where what were movies that used to captivate people, like 2001: A Space Odyssey. Mm-hmm. Now for anyone at home, if there's movies that we reference here, I do recommend to look them up because I'm going to be making some very specific references to some older movies, but there's a good reason for it. When 2001: A Space Odyssey came out, it blew people's minds with how realistic it looked, how the actors for the apes looked realistic and everything, and the different animals, how to them it was the pinnacle of science fiction at the time and won almost every award you could think of. It was one of the most decorated movies of all time. Has it aged very well? Yeah, it's done decently, actually. It's not terrible. But the point I'm getting at is that was a movie that it was, compared to modern movies, much slower paced. It was more story driven. The audience had a lot more patience when getting to things. There were moments where you just would kind of sit there and watch stuff unfold very slowly. It comes from an era, again, movies before, like I would say probably the 1990s or early 2000s. It comes from a moment to where a lot of movies you could simply enjoy the movie as a whole, and that in that moment in time you are watching a movie, and that's the fun of it. There's no extended political message, nothing that's trying to wow you in terms of like I'm going to call this out, like a Michael Bay thing where bigger explosions, bigger boom blazer. It's not trying to overwhelm your senses, I believe, is the point I'm trying to get at. Mm-hmm. It used to send a message, or just sometimes it was a happy story. Like, for example, one of my favorite movies ever, The Princess Bride. I still believe it's one of the top movies ever, not because of the budget, not because of special effects, not because of the acting or anything.
Just the story.
It's just a good story. It's a great story. And that's it. And that's fundamentally, at least for humans, when we're going down the movie side, we have other stuff to get to as well. But in the movies, this is what's been lost, is every single sequel has to be bigger, better, faster, whatever. And they get more ridiculous. They get more out of control.
And let's not forget that 2001: A Space Odyssey also helped to prove the film and video techniques to allow for the moon landing.
Wait. All right, you had me there. I was like, I thought you were going to go the realm of, you were proving that eventually AI is going to be a real thing, and they were talking about AI in that movie. And I was like,
that too, but I wanted to put the moon landing conspiracy out there.
We landed on the moon. There's no way we did.
Yes, we did.
There's no way we did not land on the moon. We had to have. It'd be weird if
I can absolutely understand the reason people say that we didn't.
Yeah.
But we did. So
we did. Now, the reason why we haven't gone back, that's an entirely different thing. I think that's way more open interpretation. But going back to the movie side, the entertainment side of it, it's one of those things where movies used to be something where, I don't want to say it was like a passion project, but typically people that were intelligent, interested, well-read, understood, talented, or passionate about these topics were involved.
Yeah, smart people put time and effort into it, and their heart.
Yeah. Look at, I would think, for example, again, look at Star Wars. I'm not like the biggest Star Wars guy. Like, I do like it. And I will shit on Star Trek later as a Star Trek lover. Don't get me wrong. But even with Star Wars, it's not the most well-made movie ever. But it is a story that people can relate to or understand, and it's meant to tell a fun, interesting, and engaging story. It's not overly complex. It's not overly simple. It's just down the road middle. And that's what most people enjoy, are stories like that. And unfortunately, nowadays, go to the movies and try to find something like that. Try to find even a movie that is I would say PG friendly that isn't catered towards kids. It's this weird dichotomy where either it's a child movie or it's X-rated. It's because it's gone to this big extreme. And for most people, it's just very off-putting. Because I don't know about
Even
you,
the rating system has been revised to where what was PG-13 back in the 90s would qualify as like G-rated now.
really? I
And
didn't
what's
know that.
PG rated or what's PG-13 now would basically be rated R back in the 90s.
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, if you watch what was allowed back then versus what was allowed now, there is such a big shift in the allowable amounts of language, gore, and violence in today's shows and movies versus 80s, 90s, early 2000s.
You know, now that you make that point, I think in terms of like the violence and the gore part, that's really changed now that I really sit here and think about that. Because that part, again, I'm only 30, so like I wasn't around during the 90s to see movies out at the movie theater.
Right.
So I didn't get to see the change, but
Yeah.
going and watching those older movies and thinking about it, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, think about Jurassic Park. I'm sure you've watched
Yeah.
that one.
Oh yeah.
I remember going to the theaters and seeing that and thinking, oh my God, this is so awesome. Oh, that's so bloody and gory. And now you can go see Terrifier in theaters.
Yeah. Which I was just introduced to that a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Honestly, kind of, I will admit the facial expressions, kind of funny, very memeable, I will admit.
Oh, dude,
But-
Art the Clown is quite memeable. I hate the movies. They're so poorly written and acted, but Art the Clown is a solid character.
That's the only reason. Everything else is terrible. But I started
Yes.
watching it, I was like, wow, this sucks, but in almost a good way.
Yeah.
It's almost like, it reminds me of like Donnie Darko. I don't know if you ever saw
Yeah.
that one. Where like,
Yep.
it's so bad, it's almost good. That same kind of thing.
Yeah. But yeah, getting back on the movie track, movies that kind of like set the bar and then other movies tried to match it. I'll touch on some of the more recent ones. Everybody's favorite Interstellar. Also The Martian.
Oh, yeah.
Those are two movies where Matt Damon had to be rescued in both of them. But let's add a third one, Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah,
all three of
yeah.
those movies, Matt Damon had to be rescued in.
I know, he's good at that.
All three of those movies really, for when they came out, those years, set the bar so fucking high because they were so well done. And then other movies that tried to kind of latch onto that coattail and kind of copy a little bit just fell so short.
It's because those movies are believable and they are well researched. They are well thought out. Even as someone that's like a movie critic, because I love to criticize movies and like point out plot holes and issues. The Martian is a hard one for me to critique. It's like Saving Private Ryan as like a military movie guy. It is one of the best military. That and Hacksaw Ridge.
Oh yeah.
Every time I watch them, I'm in awe. It's so well done. But that's because you had dozens and dozens and hundreds of people that were very passionate, very skilled, and they were super into it and knowledgeable about the topic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're talking about another movie I have to point out, something like Avatar. That first one. That set box office records at one of the first, I think it was like the first $1 billion movie. Was Avatar?
Oh, the blue ones.
Blue people.
Yeah.
Yes.
The blue people.
Yes. Don't get me wrong. The cartoon is fantastic. One of my
Yeah,
favorites
I was
ever.
going to say they didn't do a movie of the cartoon. So
No, but I mean the blue people one. That
Yes.
one. Amazing movie. I still think the other Matt Damon ones are better, although I'm kind of realizing that I don't even look at Matt Damon in terms of like going on my way to see his movies, but apparently I watch all his movies. I never
Right.
realized.
And quick side note, yes, I am fully well aware of the fan fiction movie that was made of Avatar: The Last Airbender. That does not count. It does not exist. It is not a real movie.
No.
There is no Warren Bossing say.
But yeah, there's just that overarching continuing trend of just putting like the first Avatar took what, like it was like 8 or 10 years. To
Oh, yeah.
make and produce,
And the second one, like 15.
yeah, the second one sucked though. in comparison.
Yeah, it was garbage.
Like
I honestly didn't even finish it.
But you know what's crazy is the shift in the movies really ever since I would say like 2014, 2015, 2016. And
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed the big movie shift ever since Avengers Endgame?
what I was going to say is I feel like the Marvel Cinematic Universe has unfortunately ruined all other sci-fi, action, and even a lot of comedy.
Yeah.
Because that formula that they developed for that universe was so uniquely good. It was fun for everybody. It was relatable. They had the best writers, the best actors and actresses, and they had a coherent storyline because this was already done, 40, 50 years ago, by the way, for the most part.
And they could just make little edits and tweaks as they needed to.
But all the hard work was already done for them.
Yeah.
Which is kind of insane when you think about it, because it seems like Hollywood lately can't write a good movie to save their lives. If you look at any of the recent movies that are purely 100% created by Hollywood, they all suck. They're all terrible. Nobody likes them. Nobody does.
Except the critics, which are paid to like them.
Yeah, well, just look at Rotten Tomatoes. You look at I never look at the critic reviews because they're freaking useless.
God, no.
But where we're going with this discussion is there was a point to where, I hate to say it this way, I think the critical, what might be one of the greatest, I would say, pieces of entertainment history and human history is going to be those last 5 or 10 movies of the Marvel Cinematic Universe leading up to Endgame, and having one of the greatest, if not the greatest, cinematic movie of a moment of all time, and then everything else since then seems to pale in comparison. There is nothing even close, and unfortunately, they were a victim of their own success. Because the problem is everything else is trying to rip it off. Everything else is trying to rip off that moment. And nothing feels genuine. They're not willing to take the risk because here's a big problem. Most movie development companies, or really production companies, they're all just basically fronts for investment firms. So the problem is they put up $200 million, they have a movie, they get these actors and actresses, they say, hey, we can pull in about $300 million of revenue. So out of that $200 million movie, we're going to add an additional $100 million in merchandising and advertising. And we make our money back, we make some profit. Good, on to the next one. Unfortunately, in the movie industry, or really entertainment, this goes for TV shows and everything else, so much of it is no longer about the product. The product is no longer the movie. The product is you, as the consumer. The product is you sitting down and paying to watch it in the theater. They don't care if it's good, as long as you go to see it.
Or on your streaming platform.
Yeah, did you see? I don't know if you saw this. I saw somebody, there's a new bundle, which is basically the same as cable, where it's like Hulu, Disney, and ESPN. It was like $86 a month with ads.
Gross.
With ads. At least give me the lube for free. Like, fucking Christ. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I was wondering how long it would take for us to get back to the cable bundles.
Yo ho ho, I'm a pirate. Like, I don't have to tell you,
Right.
I'm not paying that. And I have so many people that aren't. No way. They're screwing themselves out of the market. So sorry with that little sidetrack, but I just had to.
Now, what sucks is that you've got guys like me that have kids, or people like me, women do too. Obviously.
Hey, it's 2025. You never know nowadays.
Oh, don't get me started. The younger ones don't have the technical prowess to get on the internet and go to the black hat sites to obtain the materials for free.
Yep.
Without getting their computer destroyed or infected. So that's a lost art almost.
Oh yeah. We're gonna be the OG pirates.
Right?
Set
sail on the high seas, buddy.
No, that's why VPN and a few other things. But it's it's gonna be the problem going forward, as I'm noticing. If you look at, for instance, what happened in Star Wars in the last 15 years.
Oh yeah.
As much as
let me just say, the original 3 will always be the air quote best ones. Empire Strikes Back, probably my all-time personal favorite. Revenge of the Sith is probably the only other one that's like a close tie.
Good.
Everybody loves Darth Vader. Everybody wants more Darth Vader. We're finally getting Lord Vader, hopefully. I really hope they don't cock that one up, and let's see what they do with it. The passion projects that have been done for Vader over the years. There was a guy out of, I believe, Canada that runs a YouTube channel. He put his own money into that and shot like a pretty reasonably well done half-hour episode that was just pure fan fiction of like a Vader type episode. Disney put the kibosh on it. They were like, hey, this is too good. We don't want you making money off of this. So he was like, well, okay, can I just show it if I don't make money? And they were like, yes. But if you do make money, it has to go to us.
Yeah.
That just shows you where their priorities are. The last 3 movies just need stricken from the record, deleted, destroyed, never to be spoken of again, and reshot. So
the only recent movie that's good is Rogue One.
Rogue One was fucking awesome, especially the last goddamn few minutes with Vader. Oh,
it is what tickles the funny bone that is Saving Private Ryan, where it finally, for the first time, showed Star Wars how it should always have been. I think from day one. I really think. What? All right. Oh, anyways, so. It's one of those things where I really wish that they would have invested more into the Rogue One style Star Wars for the more adult audience. And for really how movies are nowadays, where they're a little bit more gruesome or gory or a little bit more realistic in some ways in terms of any sort of military confrontation, violence, that type of thing.
Yeah. Yes. And that was one thing I loved about episode 3.
Oh yeah, it
like
touched
the combat scenes,
the choreography, the lightsaber choreography is the best they've ever done it. Nothing's ever topped it.
The AI assisted remake of the lightsaber battle between Obi-Wan and Vader from episode 4.
Yes, better.
Oh, so much better. I really wish that somebody would do a fucking remake of episode 4 and just like splice that in.
Oh yeah,
that scene is just so perfect. Oh,
but
also as far as, sorry to step on your pee a second. The animated series of Star Wars is really fucking well done. I loved that set. It was so good.
Did you watch The Bad Batch?
Spawned The Bad Batch. I was ready to say that is such a really well done. It touches on a lot of stuff that folks in the younger crowd watching that stuff aren't going to see a whole lot of like quality content of.
Yeah.
Bad Batch is really fucking good.
It has such an excellent message without trying to beat you over the head with it.
Yeah.
And that's what I enjoy with it. I enjoy movies that have more of a subtle message rather than trying to tell you, this is overtly right, this is overtly wrong. You just kind of get to follow along with a fun story. And from a perspective,
it's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those. The animated series is one of those deals where they tell the whole story, and they don't like force push people from the what is it, LGBTQI LMNOP plus minus asterisk division thorn parentheses people.
Yeah.
So
it's nice that it's just about the happenings that's in Star Wars without pushing modern politics into it. Because that was the problem
with episode 7, 8, and 9.
With Kathleen Kennedy's Star Wars, was she was so concerned with pushing certain political movements that it sacrificed plot points in the movie. So much so that they even changed how physics works, how certain things worked in the Star Wars universe, just to satisfy her political message. And it really undermined the entirety of the story. Because the reality is, I'm not somebody that's like super invested in Star Wars. Like, I like it, but however, I'm not going to be someone that's like, oh my God, it sucks that they ruined everything. But the only reason I complain is because all you have to do is watch the other movies to understand your ground rules. All you have to do is sit there, and mind you, if you're going to actually, I don't know, be the director of a movie, and there's been like 6 previous movies, you would think, oh, all I have to do...
You've got some solid groundwork.
It's pretty simple. It's easily lined out. You know what you can and can't do. And imagine you're watching this going, wow, none of this fucking matters. And putting it in the trash can. And then saying, I'm just going to do what I want. No. That's especially something that's as beloved as something like Star Wars. Or even, God forbid, for what they did to Star Trek for a little bit. Same thing. It's one of those things to where you have to stay within what makes sense in that universe. Because if there are no rules and nothing's built, then nothing matters. And that's the problem with recent Marvel. Where because of the multiverse, where there are no rules and nothing matters, why would you care? If actions do not have consequences in movies, why are you going to watch it? Why are you going to get invested? Because you know they could just come back or disappear or reappear or suddenly do whatever. I think it's one of those things where we as humans, we live linear, where all of our actions have consequences, A to B, B to C. If you watch
the multiverse theory fucked that.
I can't relate to it. How am I supposed to relate to that as someone? You know, like, again, at the end of Endgame, spoilers, I'll have to say that, because there's got to be one person like, oh, there's spoilers. But at the end of Endgame, when Tony finally dies, after all those years, all those movies, all of that time, those 20, 30 hours I've spent in the movie theater and the countless hours I spent watching the TV shows, with him finally dying and being gone, that gravity of like, wow, you lost the heart of it. What are we going to do? How are we going to rebuild? How are you going to... All of that has been completely taken away by going to the multiverse. Especially now, as much as I love the idea of him being Doctor Doom and going that route, which looks really cool, I still have to juxtapose it with, yeah, but he's not dead.
Yeah.
So it's the problem not just with Marvel, but with almost every single movie series. Look at them rebooting all of the old stuff. Anything that was previously done. It's rather than doing a new idea or a new topic or a continuation, everything is, oh, let's reboot it into a prequel. Or let's reboot it and just do the same thing over again for copyright issues or to keep, intellectual property on or anything else like that. Unfortunately, it's very boring and very lazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you said with Star Trek, what they did with Discovery,
I am so mad with that.
I have refused to watch Discovery on principle.
Now, I heard
I will say, Lower Decks has been awesome. The animated show.
Like, I will say,
That's
Picard
great.
was really good. Like, I'll give them that. Picard was good.
Picard was good. And Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
That one I haven't done yet.
Aside from a couple of episodes that it turns out even most of the fan base didn't give a whole lot of shits about.
Yeah.
The Star Trek universe that has been coming from the Paramount Studios, I think, has been more or less pretty solid.
Yeah.
Strange New Worlds, the new season comes out here in a few months. I am very much anticipating that. Captain Pike,
Yes.
Anson Mount, he is a gorgeous, beautiful man. He is on my list. Apparently, I have a list because Neil deGrasse Tyson is also on that list, as well as Terry Crews, apparently. These are beautiful men, okay? I am a straight man, but those are my men.
Neil deGrasse Tyson?
He is a beautiful, sweet, sweet chocolate man who could put me to sleep just by talking about astrophysics, okay? Have you ever listened to him talk? The way that he can just soothe your soul to sleep. It is so entrancing.
Neil, you mean Morgan Freeman?
No, Neil deGrasse Tyson, the astrophysicist.
All right, that was a flashbang of sentences you said to me, and I'm surprised you were glazing Neil deGrasse Tyson there. That was surprising. I wasn't expecting that.
He is a sweet, sweet, beautiful chocolate man. He is awesome. He is amazing.
Yes, commercial science man. Yes. Okay. Fair enough.
God, I got all hot and bothered. I lost my place.
But no, I would agree with you that Star Trek, at least they've done better.
Yeah.
I did say Discovery, I was very pissed with how they changed the Klingons and how they did a few other things. I got the very loose reasoning, but it was stupid. I'm sorry. But inverting that, looking at what they did with Picard by continuing the story, about asking people that were involved in Next Generation and in Star Trek, about getting writers involved and people that were into it, and also the original actors and actresses, and continuing that is the proper way to do it. You're not trying to reinvent the wheel. You're just continuing the same story. And by making it, the entire thing loop into it being all about one person the entire time that was always his story. Cherry on top. Thank you. That's how it should have been done. That was satisfying. That was correctly done. That was awesome.
Yeah. Letting stories have a nice, happy ending. Because realistically, the last episode of Next Generation, it was good, but it didn't quite cinch it up, you know. There were still some things left on the table.
Well, that was one of those things where, unfortunately, they didn't know where to go with it. And at that point, they were kind of focusing more on DS9 and Voyager. And it was kind of being phased
I'll
out.
be honest. I like Voyager. I like Voyager a lot.
I know why you watch Voyager.
Hey, she could assimilate me anytime.
That is how I knew I was becoming a man when I was 12.
Yes.
It was her and Padme where I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely straight. I was like, yeah, that's
No questions.
Nope.
Oh Lord. Oh, but you know, not just with movies and TV shows, but we can touch on music just a bit. The music scene has changed quite a bit over the years. What used to take people months sometimes to write a song, they can type up a few bits of lyrics and just kind of say the same thing over and over. And that's the whole song. Wasn't there like a song that came out in the past couple of years? It was literally like 5 words, the whole song.
So, okay, now you're getting into my realm of bullshit.
Yes, I wanted to slip this one into your realm.
This topic enrages me. So, there was a time when writing and recording and producing a song took a lot of effort, time, dedication. That was before the majority of pop songs are now produced and written by the same handful of people. I don't know if anyone in the audience is aware of this. The same 13 to 20 people write every single one of the top songs or top pop artist songs, all of them, the top 100. I'm willing to bet you 80% of those are produced by the same 12 to 15 people. Almost all of them. Most any of the big pop artists you see, they don't write their own songs. All of them are outsourced. And you know what all of them are run by? They're run by individuals that own production companies or media companies. And they do research to figure out what's the in-trend thing this year. What's going to be the in thing? What's going to be... There's this famous thing called the millennial whoop. Now...
Is that like from Arsenio Hall?
No. Unfortunately, no. Do you remember how songs back in the mid-2000s do like the oh wow, all the songs had those? That was a thing they created. They purposely did it with the idea of, wow, we're going to make all these songs have the same catchy thing, and we're going to continue doing it. And that's how they got people to get into songs that weren't even that good. Because, they had the catch. They had the...
Mind control.
Again, the CIA strikes again, with their research.
Look, that's just more proof that the Illuminati were involved in all that.
Well, we're getting to that point a little bit.
Yeah,
because that's why I turn it over to you.
Yes.
But the point I want to get at is, unfortunately, most pop songs and really a lot of popular songs on the radio, they're only going off of trends. That's all it is. And number two, the other problem is there used to be a time where songs... yeah, well, it's mostly shit now. There was a time where a song would either tell a story, elicit an emotion, elicit a reaction. It would affect you some way emotionally. And then you have songs like WAP by Cardi B.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And maybe it's because I'm becoming an old man slowly.
We can't play Baby It's Cold Outside on the radio, but we can play WAP.
This is part of my problem.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, that
the
moped.
Fuck was that? Did you shit yourself?
That was a moped. So for the viewers at home, I need to describe what just happened. I have a window over here that I can see outside.
Sure.
There's a window right here. Now, I have a monitor here, but I can see it below and above it. Now, below that, I watched a guy standing up on the moped, sideways, riding it down the street. And mind you, there's potholes out there, so I don't know how he's doing it. But he was full throttle, giving her all she's got, Captain. And he was going like maybe 5-6 miles an hour. So anyways, that was a sight. But...
Okay. So real quick, before you get back on your tangent, I started to lose my marbles for a second because I was thinking of that Anaconda song. Do you remember the Anaconda fart edit?
No.
Oh, I highly encourage everybody. It should still be up, but I think she was trying to get it taken down. Yeah, it's just good old-fashioned toilet humor.
That's fine.
But the Anaconda fart edit was just a work of art.
And that's part of it too. Like, it's okay to have fun with music. I love that. Having a good laugh, a good amount of fun, having a good time.
Weird Al.
Yeah, Weird Al.
Weird Al was the master of doing that.
Well, parodies. Parodies are awesome.
Yes.
We all love it.
Like, he did one with aluminum foil.
Oh, Jesus.
Royals.
Yes.
Yeah. Royals, he did aluminum foil, which also he talked about the Illuminati.
I know. But it's part of the point to where music used to be something where a lot of bands sounded very different. A lot of artists sounded very different. Now, a lot of them use the same pre-recorded drum parts. They use the same samples that are basically pre-done guitars or piano stuff or whatever. And it's edited in a way in which it makes it sound original. But I hate to say it, it takes away from the creativity of having somebody physically play an instrument. Or, and again, I'm biased on this one, but was a music teacher, play a bunch of instruments, so like I'm going to be biased on this one, I'll be honest. But the part that really irks me is the lack of creativity or depth in the lyrics. And also, I guess I would have to say that the hedonistic nature of some of these lyrics. The issue I have, honestly, some of it's just downright grotesque. Like, sometimes it's like, what in the fuck are you talking about? Or what are you going on about? But yet, weirdly enough, it's so popular, it gets played to kids in elementary school and middle school and gets played everywhere. And I don't know. I guess maybe it's just me, but I'm kind of getting sick of, like, kids being involved with things that are sexualized in the music industry. Because that gets pushed really hard. And it really bothers me.
Yeah. And I have some side thoughts on that when I get into the whole Illuminati thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, buddy. I'm gonna tickle your pickle on that one.
Let's take me out to dinner first. Jesus.
One thing that really kind of pisses me off is auto-tune. Fun fact,
okay.
I have some kind of weird audio condition where I cannot discern vocal context from the auto-tune
What do you mean?
in some songs. I cannot hear lyrics over auto-tuned or auto-tuned voices over certain frequencies of music in songs. No idea. It's whatever frequency crossover there is, I cannot distinguish it.
Oh, okay.
I can tell you that there are words.
Yeah.
But I cannot make out the words because of whatever weird frequency they're using.
Got you. Okay.
Like you've messed around with like audio software. You can do all the fun little like effects and shit. it almost sounds like a little like whoop, 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 but like in autotune, if that makes any sense. So shit that's done like that, especially like pop music, they go way overboard with that.
I'll be honest with you, even as someone that's a musician, that is a recording artist, and knows how to do this stuff, even I have trouble hearing it. I think it's because I didn't grow up like listening to this kind of crap. But sometimes I have no idea what they're saying on the radio. Like, I genuinely have no fucking clue. And it's...
I think that's just a generational thing, because a lot of the kids mumble when they talk, and it's just like the new way of speaking that's coming around.
Yeah, but I could still even understand what Pearl Jam was singing about. Like, I like, don't get me wrong, they were mumbling, but like I could hear it. Like, at least I can understand, where some of this stuff, like, it's no clue. Don't get me wrong, Pearl Jam did not enunciate any one of their fucking words.
Oh no. And the halftime show this year, I've seen snippets of the guy. I don't remember his name. No idea what the hell he was talking about.
I didn't even watch it. I'll be honest.
Me either. I don't watch hockey, so whatever the hell was going on. I have watched some edits of the halftime show that were really good.
True.
There was, I think someone did like a Teletubbies edit or something like that. It was hilarious.
You know what? I still think Peak America was 2001 when we had Creed play.
Oh
The
yeah,
halftime show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before the whole 9/11 thing, that was early 2001. But like that looked like there's such peak America back then. I'm so jealous, because like nowadays you gotta listen.
Fuck yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe, and to be fair, I'm going to be biased because I'm just not into modern pop, because I just find it very boring. I'll be honest. But it also just comes across as so fucking lazy, dude.
Yeah,
it's so lazy. And that's the only other thing. Like a little side diatribe. I feel like so many of these pop artists they're not selling music; they're selling sex. They're just selling their body and their look, and they're basically...
There is a very large sect of the music industry where that is what they sell.
Yeah.
Especially if you watch the videos.
That's part of my problem, is like, it's just, it's one thing if you were going to do that and be like an 18 only club or something like that. Yeah, you do what you want. I really don't care. But like, to have 12-year-olds and 14-year-olds go to some of these shows, no.
I will say, just as an aside, because she's probably one of the all-time best female performers in my mind for a few reasons.
Yeah.
Shakira.
Yeah.
If you go watch the video for She-Wolf and just turn the volume down, it's a great video.
I wouldn't know that one offhand.
Well, go look it up later. But getting off of music after the Shakira video, shows and movies that have roles and characters that were made for only certain races. This is something that pisses off a lot of people. For example, the BET network.
I have a problem with that.
So I'm going to piss in someone's Cheerios here.
Why the Cheerios?
So I hope you,
they did nothing wrong.
I hope you. Well, they're round and they have the hole, so I can kind of like try to make it through without touching the sides. So I hope
That's
somebody likes it
optimistic
salty.
as fuck? Are you kidding me? How small the hole is on a Cheerio? God damn. What do you have, a fucking magnifying glass attached to your penis or something like that? What are you got going on with there? Jesus Christ. I'm going to take a piss with a spotting scope over here. Fuck. God.
I have zero problems with the what's the phrase everybody likes today. Is it still the African American community? Is it just the black community now?
Probably African Americans, I would assume.
I have zero qualms with them having shows and movies that are dedicated to all the stuff that they have and continue to go through, because it's relatable material for them. What I dislike is that if there is any actor of any other race trying to get into the roles, they are flatly refused. Flip side, they're not allowed to be refused. So why the double standard is my question. Again, I understand it is called the black entertainment television, but if we tried to do the white entertainment television, we would get so excoriated, we would not be allowed to ever show our faces in public again.
I agree.
So the simple question I have is just why the double standard, and why can't everybody just get along in that respect?
Oh, I'd agree with you 100%.
So
either you have equality
where I'm
under
at
the
on
law
that.
or you don't. You gotta take a
Yeah.
pick. You can't get to cherry pick. Be like,
No.
I get this right, but you don't. Like, no.
Yeah.
Number one. Also, number two, not for nothing. Whatever happened to like the
Number
Nutty
two.
Professor and like Medea family, and like there were so many other great like mostly African American like American movies.
Oh,
They
dude,
were-
Eddie Murphy was fucking
But
great.
he honestly, I will give him credit. He was basically responsible for like 90% of those. But like,
Uh-huh.
whatever happened to those? Because those were fucking like the Nutty Professor and the Nutty Professor 2 are some of my favorite movies of all time. But
Right.
unfortunately, from what I see on like the BET channel, it's just depravity, and I hate to say it, but it's just like all these people cheating on each other and justifying it and doing all this weird stuff with family. It's obnoxious, and I cannot believe that people are. Okay
I've
with-
watched a few shows,
Yeah.
and it just seems like they just continue to push the social narrative that's true today instead of trying to do anything to correct it.
Yeah, it's okay. So I'll rip the Band-Aid off and just be real. I once watched a couple episodes of the Housewives of Atlanta because I was like, I'm curious what's going on here.
Okay.
And it's basically an entire episode just about, women and men bitching and complaining about their significant other, and then basically having this victim mentality the whole time, being like, oh, the world hates me because of the color of my skin and all this other crap and yada, yada, yada. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, you guys just made an hour-long episode discussing basically how you could cheat on each other, make fun of your friends, do stupid stuff, and you're a victim. And it's like, this is some of the most depressing and just like downright victimizing content I've ever watched. And imagine that for seasons, like 10 or 20 seasons for this stuff. And you wonder why society, we have
Gross.
some like warped views on stuff. It's like, well, yeah, imagine if that's what you were being fed every day. Like, no
Yeah.
matter who you are, like, that's crazy. I can't believe
Yeah.
it.
There are a lot of very unrealistic and unrelatable tropes that get pushed. I know that's a big one for you.
Yeah, okay. So there's one of those things, I can only speak as a guy, but I know as most of us guys, all of us not all of us, I say most of us internally, we always want to be the hero. We want to be the savior. We want to be the person that's able to defend our family, defend our friends, do something great, be something more of ourselves, be part of a community, all those kind of things. And I've noticed a trend in more recent movies of squashing that idea entirely. I know it's one thing to be contrarian for the sake of a movie, but it's a whole nother thing to have a bunch of men in every movie seem like they're all stupid, feckless, weak, can't do anything. It basically becomes this weird dehumanization of men that I've noticed. And also, same thing they do it to women too, which is weird. Like, they also take women for other things as well, and make them seem either really stupid or really incompetent or really useless or anything else. And it's very weird to be doing that, especially when, not for nothing, when we're talking about relatable tropes, there's a lot of things in society that most people experience and most people go with that can be relatable in a movie. That's why they're common. Not for nothing, it's very hard to do a movie about something that's very, very weird and have it seem relatable, have people be interested in it. Most people watch movies because they have they can relate to it in some manner.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, for all of the weird shit that's in it, if you take out the insane tech stuff, there are a lot of episodes of Black Mirror that really hit that relatable narrative.
Well, I think it's because it's well written.
Oh yeah,
helps.
dude! The new season of Black Mirror, holy shit balls! I'm only a few episodes in, and holy fuck!
You've mentioned that a couple of times now.
Yeah, buddy.
But it's
go ahead.
I guess to wrap up what I was trying to say is, I know from a male perspective, because I would have to talk about this. I have seen so many movies over and over basically dissing on guys for being guys, or boys for being boys, men for being men. And it comes to a point to where it's like, why would I want to support or watch these movies or films when I constantly feel like I'm bad just for the way I was born? And
right.
Again, I can't speak for anybody else. I can't speak for anything else. But when you get fed that or force fed that over movies and movies and movies for years and years or even a decade,
it wears on you.
Well, it comes to a point where it's like, why fucking bother? Why watch this? Why put money into it? Why am I going to support this? And I'm not saying it's every movie. I'm not even saying it's majority. But there has been a subsect of movies where it's like, wow, if you are a guy, you can't catch a break. You were always the villain no matter what. And it's hard to be relatable. It's hard to make a guy want to spend money on that or see that.
Yeah. Good writing will always be better than good actors. The best actor going, like Ryan Reynolds, can't make a good movie out of a bad script. The Green Lantern.
Great example.
Yeah. He even regretted that one, but he did it to do it.
Yeah, but don't worry, Deadpool made it right.
Yes. God, Deadpool is such a good set.
Oh yeah.
I love those movies.
But it is true. I would think having people that are passionate and knowledgeable about these movies and making a good script and spending the time to do it right, not just try to rush it out to make money while it's relevant, it shows. Yes. It really shows. One of the shows, for example, I have to point out recently, I watched Reacher on Amazon Prime.
Oh, yeah.
And as somebody that read the books and hated the Tom Cruise one because it was completely wrong, and then Alan Richardson comes in, and it's like, Jesus Christ.
Does it right.
This is one of the best, not only casting decisions I've ever seen in my life, but the script is fucking perfect. That's the way you do it. If you want to do a great TV show to have it be exactly what it's supposed to be, that's how you do it. And I don't understand why it's that complicated, especially when there's so many movies and books or adaptations where you have a lot of stuff to pull from. And the characters' motivations of most books or TV shows are pretty fucking simple. Because it's got to be relatable.
Let me say on the book to movie adaptation, I waited for literal decades for a book to become a movie. And goddamn it, as soon as I said it, it went away.
No, Fahrenheit 451?
No.
That was a letdown.
Yeah, it was.
Great book. The movie was like a 4 out of 10.
Shit. It was a Tom Clancy book. Michael B. Jordan was in it. Yeah, fuck. Now I have to
Michael B.
Google
Jordan,
this.
one of my favorite actors of all time. Jeez.
Without Remorse, that was it. Thank you,
Yep.
Google. So Without Remorse, I picked up that book when I was in the Navy, and I had such an issue putting that book down because it was so good, and it was a thick book. I'm talking like capitalized, bold, double C.
Oh yeah,
thick.
Did you have the hardcover or the soft cover for that one?
Soft cover. That's all they had on the ship.
Oh.
But I read it twice on one deployment.
Okay.
And I read it, I think, 2 more times after that. So I was waiting for this book to get made into a movie. And what they did on screen was such an absolute atrocity. Now, again, don't get me wrong. Michael B. Jordan, great actor. He played the part he was given well. That was not what I was expecting.
No.
Like 1,050,000,000%. That is not what I sat down to watch.
But it shows that the director did not know that the topic. They didn't know.
Yeah, no. They made a whole different script. It followed like nothing.
Then why bother having the title at that point? That's my biggest issue. Was like, if you're going to go with something that already exists, at least pull from it. At least be somewhat close.
Right. The comic book guys, Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah. Fantastic Four? Or no?
No.
Sorry, Dr. Manhattan. Where's that from?
The Watchmen.
Oh, Jesus. I haven't seen that in a while.
The Watchmen was perfectly done. They essentially use the graphic novel as the script.
Yeah. Or
perfectly done.
Look at what they're doing with Invincible.
Oh yeah, dude, Invincible's fucking great.
It's
solid show.
It's one of the best, and same thing with The Boys. The Boys is probably one of the greatest examples I can see because they do take some liberties from the comics, but Jesus Christ, the writing is top notch, the scripting is top notch, the acting is out of this world. There's a reason why The Boys would be considered one of the greatest TV shows of all time.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. But
I dislike a lot of the gender politic pushing in The Boys.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
But I didn't read the comics, so I don't know if that's in there.
I've noticed that they've been toning it down. If you notice in the last few episodes,
last season.
Yeah, I think they've realized because, like, again, nobody wants to watch these movies to be lectured about stuff.
No,
politics is boring and bullshit enough as it is right now. I don't want to see it in movies. If I want to go watch a movie about politics, I will go watch a movie about politics. There was a really funny one a few years ago. About this lady and someone else that was running for like a local governor or something like that. And it was actually hilarious. It was a great movie. But that's the only time I've gone to the movie and thought, wow, I can't wait to look at politics. Everything else, it's like, please get the fuck away from me.
Right. Yeah, lots of the newer movies kind of rely on the big name, like star power, you know?
Yeah.
And they just kind of push that and don't put as much effort into the script. And that happens entirely too much. You can see it literally everywhere in the movies, on TV, on streaming, literally everywhere. So there's a lot of that going on and way too much. Promoting race or diversity over quality, all the DEI bullshit that's been going on. That's been an issue, and hopefully it stops and continues to stop.
From what I heard from the Writers Guild strike and a few other things in Hollywood, they'd be getting rid of a lot of their DEI requirements and initiatives for movies.
Good.
Because that was
now
becoming an issue.
I have no problem with put the person most qualified into the position that's open. Period.
Meritocracy.
Doesn't matter anything else. Just fill the roles with the most qualified individuals. Period.
Don't give someone special permissions because of the color of their skin. Because I don't like racism either way.
Or who they sleep with.
Yeah, like why does that matter? It's
right.
You know, if you're a good actor, a good actress, or a good writer, or a good director, just find the best person for that job. You're 100% right. It's a meritocratic system. But the idea that says, "Oh yeah, we have to hire this person because of the color of their skin or who they sleep with," it's like that's BS. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it shows. I hate to say it, but the proof's in the pudding. You know?
And I know I kind of already touched on this one. Forcing the LGBTQILMNOP plus minus asterisk division, thorn parentheses, agendas and ideologies over storylines. Do what?
Where are you getting that part of the acronym from? They usually just say LGBTQ, or unless, I don't know.
I don't know. They've added a lot of new genders this past year.
There's Two-Spirit, and there's a few other ones.
So, that brings us to the part of the show that I have been most anxious to get to talking about. All throughout the entertainment industry. Loosen your belts and get comfortable, boys and girls. Alleged involvement of the Illuminati and the possibility of A-list actors using things like code words in public to engage in sex acts and trafficking of minors and other marginalized people. This has been a very big thing over the years. Harvey Weinstein, Ellen DeGeneres, Jay-Z, Tom Hanks, Beyonce, all the big names are potentially involved and have been implicated in a lot of bullshit.
Well,
they use code words like pizza when they're talking about kids.
You're talking about Pizzagate is what you're referring to.
Pizzagate is one of the big things, yeah.
Well, really, it was the Jeffrey Epstein stuff is really what kind of blew open this, because this has been an underground thing for decades.
Yeah.
When the Epstein stuff came up, and when certain people in Hollywood, particularly people like Tom Hanks, for example, decided to flee the country and no longer had a permanent home here, people started raising questions.
Mm-hmm.
So don't get me wrong, it could be due to tax stuff. As he was based out of California, he was making so much money that he might have just wanted to not have to pay the taxes, but I don't know.
It was not because of tax stuff, Gibbs. Provocative acts and symbolism on stage and on cover art and even during interviews that are supposedly used to make various call-outs to the Illuminati. Covering up an eye, the triangle, all this other bullshit that people say that they do, like all this stuff. Yeah, they say those are call-outs to the Illuminati, and different things that they do, even things that they wear. There are magazine covers where you've got a lot of these big stars sitting there like with a hand over their eye and they're looking out. That's their level of involvement or level of call out to the Illuminati. And you can look all this stuff up. It's out there. That's the scarier part, I guess. Beyonce is said to be a very powerful figurehead in the Illuminati. Over the years, people who had no public involvement with her have began to thank her in their acceptance speeches, like first.
And they will dedicate it to her. They'll say, "Oh, this Grammy nomination."
They would dedicate their whole thing, yeah. Like almost like they were required to, like they had to like bend the knee.
The first thing out of their fucking mouth, and it would be for people.
Thank you, Beyonce. I gotta say thank you to Beyonce.
You know
all this other
country
bullshit.
Artists, even some light rock artists, a ton of hip hop and R&B artists. I would saw a couple
It's
of jazz.
all over the spectrum, just like me. And after a while, I think she kind of got, okay, people are starting to catch on. So if you're going to say it, just put it towards the end. So she got her acknowledgments, but it was towards the end after a while. One interesting fact, people that have spoken in negative ways about her, Beyonce, have had their entire careers derailed. Think of Wendy Williams, former talk show host, in sometimes odd and potentially questionable ways. Wendy Williams went from being as coherent as you and I to essentially laid up in a nursing home after she started talking about Beyonce's baby bump being fake.
I literally have no idea what you're talking about right now.
Okay, so Wendy Williams, you'll have to look up who she is because she had a talk show. She had pointed out that during an interview, Beyonce sat down and the camera angle caught her baby bump looking like it had folded in on itself, like it was a rubber overage for her belly. And she had made the comment, hey, when I was pregnant, I never had a baby bump fold in on itself. Did any of you women in the audience? And, everyone, of course, no. And she showed the video. And yeah, it really fucking looked kind of weird. Kind of like the Michelle or Michael Obama dong swinging around on the Ellen Show.
I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole. Nope.
Well, apparently neither does Barack. So
don't look at me, FBI. I have nothing involved with this. All right, that's all good.
But so Wendy Williams was talking about this on her show, and like a couple weeks later, I don't even think it was a couple weeks, it comes out that she had been diagnosed with degenerative brain issues, and she's up in a nursing home. And they show pictures of her, and she's all just like cracked out of her mind, looking all fucking out of it. And she didn't know her fucking ass from a wall.
Almost like what Britney Spears went through, huh?
Britney's a sad case, dude. That girl was manipulated all through the years.
Yeah, because they took advantage of her money.
Yeah. But a lot of the Illuminati stuff ties into, Pizzagate, Epstein, Bohemian Grove, all kinds of shit where it's just centralized power of a lot of people who have done some really dirty, disgusting, shady shit all through Hollywood and all through America.
Well, I'm trying to search it up right now. Remember there was a rapper that a couple of years ago did a music video.
Puff Daddy of the Baby Oil.
No.
But that's another issue there.
That one's a weird one. The fucking baby oil, bro. 1,000 bottles of baby oil. That's I genuinely thought that was all laced with drugs and that was a way from like traffic stuff. But no, it apparently came out it was literally
just baby oil
with a little bit of chloroform. I don't know how that works, but like
maybe.
I
guess the dude just likes to whack it with baby oil.
Yeah, maybe just gets lathered in it. I don't know.
That is the thing.
I don't eat. Every day on this earth, people disgust me more and more. Just every day. You ever see that part of the Matrix where Smith is talking about how much he hates being in human flesh, how it's disgusting and everything? I feel like every day I sit there think, Smith, I get it. After looking at people and the things that we do, I get it. Maybe it's me becoming part of the AI and part of the Matrix in the future. I don't know. But
I have days where I just sit there and I'm like, Thanos was right.
I can't seem to find it. But going back to your point, there was a rapper I remember that did a music video that it looked very like satanic. And I'm not somebody that's like against Satanism or anything like that. I'm not somebody that's like really concerned with that kind of stuff. But it was like, Jesus, this is fucking weird. And not weird in like that's cool way. Weird in a way like, this is hedonistic and weird with kids. Like, what the fuck?
Well, I don't know about the kids, but Sam Smith. He did
the one.
That Unholy video.
Yeah, which I don't know. It gave me weird.
And that was one where, again, was supposedly very much, trying to think of the words, Illuminati bound kind of thing. Now, Illuminati gets tied into the Satanism aspect, a lot of stuff wrongfully. The two are very different groups, so there's none of that. But all the stuff that the Illuminati is supposedly involved in, we might want to do a whole episode on that shit at some point, because between them and the Pizzagate stuff and Epstein, who did not hang himself, there's just a lot of stuff that's going on.
Well,
I still think Clinton's took him out. I think Hillary paid him a visit.
It's 100%. Like we know Epstein didn't hang himself. We know this.
Right.
We know this. There's without a doubt. Come on. The camera stopped working and all of a sudden we come back out and see, bullshit. You kidding me?
Right.
Mm-hmm. No.
Far too many coincidences.
There's no such thing as coincidence in this world. No way. Absolutely no way.
No.
I refuse. Although it would be fun to do like an Illuminati episode as well as just like other group. I don't know if you want to call them like a cult, but like unorthodox groups in the US or something like that. I've heard a lot of weird stuff in that range. I mean, like
you've
don't really retain it.
You've got like the Freemasons, the Illuminati, and
but the Freemasons don't really do anything. They just raise money for hospitals.
No, that's the Shriners.
Oh, okay, valid. Well, yeah, I don't know. They just do local charities, as far as I know. As far as I've dealt with, anyway, in my area.
Yeah, I know a Freemason. I can talk to him a little bit.
Same. So. Oh.
Yeah.
But no, the Illuminati stuff gets weird, and unfortunately, there's just no way to corroborate a lot of the stuff.
No, that's the bad part. They're up there with like the Church of Scientology.
Well, at least the Scientology stuff, you can get all the information on. You kind of know who's running it.
But some. You can get some of the information. Without joining the church and infiltrating it. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of people that...
You got to be rich to get in and get the good stuff.
I know someone that was a Scientologist that left. That went through that. As well as like, it's so stupid, man. Fucking your inner thetans. Like I will say the South Park episode on it makes me laugh every fucking time.
Oh, hell yeah. Time. Hail science.
But no, it goes to show, like, not. I'm going to insult everybody at once. I don't give a fuck. People believe in weird, stupid shit. Like,
Oh, yeah.
no matter who.
The Pastafarians are my favorite.
Pastafarian is what. By the
Yep. The flying noodle monster.
My coworker showed me that last week for the first time.
Nice.
I never knew that was a thing, and that was.
Oh shit! That reminds me. Happy Zombie Jesus Day.
Yeah.
Today's Easter.
The OG necromancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the OG, man.
I don't know if you saw my Facebook posts, but I posted the
Yes,
Zombie
yes,
Jesus,
I saw that.
the shitty kite, and yeah.
Hey, all I'm saying, he's the OG necromancer. If that's what really happened, you know, that's a whole different type of religion.
Yeah.
But I don't know. People believe in weird stuff, and I hate what you just said in the chat. Please never fucking say that again. I'm
Glaze me.
I don't like that.
Glaze me.
I am not, no. I hate everything about that. That's
You love it.
I have to take a something to make that happen. Fuck. Fucking Christ.
What, one of the blue pills?
Just volume. I don't get it. Like,
Blue Chew sponsor us. Damn it.
well, I don't need it in that category. It's just like, how do you get a leader?
Oh no, I don't
How
either.
do you get a leader? That's the thing I don't understand. Good Lord. I'd be passed the fuck out. Kidding me? Good Lord. And for those listening that have no idea what we're talking about, you are very welcome, because I'm not going to explain. You do not want to know. But
This is why you should join the live streams and the Discords and everything. Yes. So
most often that's how it is.
Most often, yes. But if you join, you'll get the alerts.
Exactly.
So
you'll know.
You'll know. You'll be in the know. Speaking of in the know, do you want to tell them what we're trying to work on the side? What we're talking about before the pre-show?
That does not narrow it down. I already forget because I have a fucking meatball. So,
Jesus, dude. Okay, so I am trying to work on some potential merch items.
Yes.
I don't know how well they'll be received. Going to go with the patented noodles and nips because that's a thing. That is the thing that we say around here. So
we do got to work on a couple of logos.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. But I am going to do a QR code thing that'll take you to the YouTube channel. So I have a laser engraver. So anything that becomes merched will be made directly by me. And for an extra small fee, I will mushroom stamp it with my own appendage before I send it out. Or for an even higher fee, I will not mushroom stamp it with my own appendage.
If you are the reason the FTC bans our merch, because, and I quote, I ordered a hoodie, why does it have pubic hair? I am going to drive to your house. And we're going to have a very impolite discussion. And more importantly, if I get sent merch on my own podcast, and you did that.
Oh, no, see, for you, I'm going to send you I'm going to send you a sample, and I'm going to just trace out my dong on a board. It's just going to say, guess what was here, Gibbs?
No.
I'll send you one of those. I'll send you one of those shark coochie boards.
Charcuterie.
Yeah, the shark coochie boards.
Charcuterie.
Yeah, shark coochie.
I hate this timeline. I really hate this timeline.
I know. It's all because of Harambe.
Yeah, I know. The fucking Hadron Collider, I swear to God.
Right. Which they're making a newer, bigger one. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I know. I can't wait to switch our reality again.
I know. I can't wait. Maybe the reptile overlords will reset the simulation to
fucking
2012.
Denzel Washington as an ex-president or something like that. But as long as it's not Dwayne the Rock Johnson, that's fine. But like, fuck,
Right.
Christ.
Oh
And
yeah.
then we have what's his name? Oh fuck. The one that was the president.
All right.
No, oh god. No, but the one that was the president in Idiocracy. I forgot the actor's name. Terry Crews.
Terry Crews. Yeah, he's one of my list guys.
All I can imagine Terry Crews as the president would be pretty funny.
Oh yes, President Camacho.
Even not just Camacho, but just Terry Crews himself.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But good lord, that would be.
Mm-hmm.
At least at the negotiation table, nobody would think twice about like fucking with him or messing with him.
Oh yeah, no. He'd just pull off one of those. Yeah, no, I don't think you're getting the idea here.
That's how you know if he's bluffing or not, is whether his moves are moving, whether his pecs are.
The pec flex.
Yeah. Those pecs tell no lies. But oh man.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. So I'll be working on some of the merch stuff here over the next couple weeks. We're still working on a fun episode coming down the chute. That one's going to be a lot of fun. Noodles, nips, and socials, I suppose.
Yeah, because we do want to start working on some
Anything
merch
else?
stuff, just in general.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, we're just kind of meeting up and doing some more stuff about future advertising and marketing and stuff like that, and getting some other things kind of figured out. Definitely the logistics of doing a podcast from 2 different locations and have it be synced and all sound good and everything is a bit of a challenge in terms of like getting the video quality good. So we're still like, it's good now, but I'm a little picky, so I want to find a way to make a couple of changes somehow. I just don't know how yet. Without us spending an obscene amount of money and time. You know, because we all got 10 grand each to drop on that, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. I could donate a testicle. I don't need it anymore. I'm done with them.
Are they worth less as you get older, or are they worth the same?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
Is there like a peak testicle value?
Hmm.
Oh. Anyways, sorry. That's just I know.
Well, I think that that's a good place to end it on, is talking about testicular value over time. Does it decrease like gold?
or fuck! I could have made a funny joke, but I don't remember his name. Never mind.
Hugh Hefner?
No, what's his name? The bicyclist that had one.
Oh, Lance
Yeah.
Armstrong.
Damn, I could have made a great joke.
I am a fucking cornucopia of useless knowledge
You know
up
what's funny?
here.
You know nothing about like bicycling and doing that, but you remember
No.
him.
Yeah. Well, Lance One Nut Armstrong.
The Uniballer, as you call him.
The Uniballer, yes.
Oh man,
Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. He was a interesting man.
that'd be a fun episode.
Just on him?
I don't know, just weird. I guess that'd be a weird episode called Weird Terrorists. I don't know.
Oh, maybe some of the more prolific serial cases in America or something like that.
Just an odd one.
We've only done one true crime episode. We should do another one.
Okay, maybe we'll flex into that a little bit.
Yeah, we can flex into that. Spit on it and shove it in there like a bad girl.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Oh man. I have no words for what you just did. You should be ashamed of yourself, but hey.
Never. I apologize for nothing. I meant to do that earlier when we talked about hedonism stuff. Hedonism bot is my favorite one from Futurama. I apologize for nothing. I love that show. But I think we can wrap this up and say thanks again for hanging out with us. I have retroactively added the Discord link to all of the descriptions on all of our shows, on all of our platforms. So there are now no excuses to not find the Discord. So it's there. If you just hit the little drop down like on Spotify and whatnot, you can find the Discord link right there.
Mhm.
So join us, become one. You can get in on the shenanigans. Join us on Twitch when we do this stuff, because it can get fun. It can get lively. You can see the noodles and nips in action.
You can also see chat.
It's
which, I'm so sorry for those that.
sometimes yes, there are apologetic worthy things going on in chat. Sometimes, usually,
every fucking episode. Are you kidding me?
hey, dishing out therapy one episode at a time. Okay,
I wouldn't need the therapy at the rate we're going. Jesus Christ.
you know a therapist. You're good.
Yeah, but he's expensive.
Well, that's what them hands are for, buddy.
Oh, Jesus.
Put on the sax and just.
Oh, man.
Anyways, thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We'll catch you next time, and we'll see what we can get into with a possible episode on the future of society with kids and how fucked we might be. That's potentially on the burner. So thanks again for hanging out with us, and we love you, and we'll see you next time.